Well, it's the big show. To AEW confirmed. Hello, welcome to this breaking episode of the WrestleTalk News. Excuse the lower production standards than usual, because AEW, All Elite Wrestling, just announced Paul Wight, aka The Big Show, aka The Giant from WCW, which is probably what Cody's thinking. Yes, I've got the Giant signed. I can play with my Sting and Giant action figures now in my own promotion. Has signed with the company. This is crazy. He was just with WWE as of the January 4th Legends Night episode of Monday Night Raw. Before then, he was in the Undertaker farewell segment at the end of Survivor Series. He kind of main evented that show, I guess. He freaking main evented WrestleMania last year when Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar, and then, the real main event that was taped and shown on the next night's Raw, Drew McIntyre then beat The Big Show. He's come back multiple times. He was involved very prominently in the Randy Orton-Drew McIntyre feud too. I don't know, where does this rank on the heel-face turn? Is it a face turn? He turned heel on WWE, I guess. Good Lord, the man has a lot of turns. Right, so this has caught me by surprise, definitely. It was broken by AEW themselves. Interestingly, earlier yesterday, Tony Khan, the AEW president, he did an interview with Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Live, where he teased a lot of old and big names coming to AEW soon. He said it would change the landscape of that promotion. And he was also teasing how that might factor into the Sunday the 7th of March's Revolution pay-per-view. They've got a 6-man ladder match to determine the number one contender for the AEW title, and they're not going to announce the 6th man. That's going to be a mystery person to be unveiled at the pay-per-view. So you're like, okay, are all these things fitting? And the fact that he said a lot of names, a number of names, old and new, are going to turn up in the promotion. And you sort of look over to Japan as well, because they've got that working relationship there with New Japan. Apparently, it's just a matter of time, waiting for those travel restrictions to be lifted. And then frickin' Big Show comes out of nowhere. What does this mean for the Big Show show on Netflix? I haven't watched it, I don't really care about that anyway. But this is from AEW's own Twitter account, and it's not just like he's coming in for a match because he saw Shaq over there. Shaq's, of course, having his match with Cody on Dynamite on March 3rd. Big Show has always wanted to have that big Shaq match. It'd be a huge Shaq match, like the combined height of both of them. It looked like it was going to happen at WrestleMania. They had that stare down in the middle of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal every year around WrestleMania time. Big Show would get into this incredible shape. He wanted the Shaq match to happen, and then no ball. But now Cody's got it happening on Dynamite. So, here is AEW's press release. I won't read it all. I'll just pick out the most interesting parts. So, has announced Paul Wight, remember that's his real name, has signed a long-term deal, similar to Sting. Doesn't say multi-year, but you would expect it to be multiple years if they're saying long-term. Adding yet another universally regarded name to AEW's roster of stars, legends, and upcoming talent. Now, it describes his role as extensive within AEW, and on top of his return to the ring, so he will be wrestling, according to this, he will serve as a commentator on AEW's newest show, AEW Dark Elevation. So this is quite smart PR practice here, because you're not just... I don't think many people would care about the new show. It's been in the works for a long time. Apparently TNT, it was part of that TNT extension that they signed in January last year, but who knows whether that's still on because of the pandemic and how the TV business has changed since then, particularly around live sports. So they've smuggled in this AEW Dark Elevation launch within a bigger announcement of Big Show. And I've always thought, when Big Show hangs up his boots when he retires, he's brilliant as a commentator. He's whenever he's on those little guest spots, when he's been part of a guest commentary on Raw or SmackDown or whatever, he's just very insightful. A very naturally witty guy, good talker. He comes across as smart He's like, like when Taz or Samoa Joe do commentary. It's that kind of, I've always got that from him. And he's a good actor. He's a very good actor. He can cry on command. So he's going to be the commentator on AEW Dark Elevation. There's nothing on that about it being on TNT, but it's described as being part of the AEW continuity along with Dynamite and Dark, and it will air on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on AEW's YouTube channel, because I needed more wrestling in my life. God, so much. I can't keep up now. And interestingly, Paul there's a quote in here. Here's what he said about being excited to join AEW. It's been amazing to watch what AEW has built in just a couple of years, said Paul Wight. AEW Dark is an incredible platform to hone the skills of up-and-coming wrestlers, but I also love that established AEW talent can build out their personalities and showcase themselves in new ways on Dark. It's no exaggeration when they say AEW is boundless. That feels like it's hard not to take a lot of these words and moves as slights against WWE, and we'll get on to that. There's the rest of the announcement is very Dynamite heavy. Tune into Dynamite tonight. It's a great idea to announce it in advance. We got the Sting debut. That was a lovely surprise when it happened in December. Why not get a little bit of press out of this? And you got surely he's going to interact with Shaq off the back of this. But yeah, that's the rest of the PR announcement, the press release. But PW Insider very quickly followed up on this to talk about why he isn't with WWE anymore. You think a few guys in that company, I would say Big Show was one of the lifers. I would think that they'd find a ambassador role, a commentary role, maybe a role down training and working specifically with big guys in the performance center. The guy's experience is boundless, to use the PR press release's words. But according to PW Insider, Big Show and WWE could not come to terms financially on a new deal following his last appearance in January. That was for the Raw Legends Night. And Big Show was said to be openly unhappy about the situation while he was at that Legends Night Raw backstage. He's now been moved to the alumni section of WWE.com, and of course, AEW have already confirmed the signing. So Big Show was unhappy with WWE, and it kind of sets a precedent, If Big Show, someone of that level, a big WWE star, has suddenly jumped ship, and Tony Khan has teased other names, we're not going to see Brock Lesnar show up in the next couple of months in AEW, or John Cena or anyone like that. But it makes you look at the rest of the the WWE legends, or just people who are rumored to have their contracts coming up. You're like, could we see them turning up? Are these the other guys that Khan has teased? Just to go through AEW's Twitter, because they announced it on Twitter with the press release and what's coming up on Dynamite tonight. The Paul Wight is all elite, the thumbnail of this video. And a lot of people have been very excitedly tweeting that. And Paul Wight himself, incredibly excited, he tweeted with the bicep emoji, sunglasses on face emoji. We've had... I don't know who that is. Dustin Rhodes has said, "Hey, Paul, we meet again, old buddy." Of course, his time as Dustin Rhodes in WCW. I'm pretty sure Dustin Rhodes also had a spell in WWE. So, yeah, they're reunited. Taz has said, "Hey, jobbers, this is one of the good guys in the biz. Welcome aboard, brother, to AEW Dynamite." God, so you got Taz, Matt Hardy, Sting, Big Show. What? Kurt Angle's just sitting at home, guys. Someone give Kurt Angle a call. Matt Hardy has posted a picture of, good God, that is so incredibly 2003. It's Matt Hardy and Big Show doing the, that pose on a coach somewhere, maybe. That makes me feel embarrassed for my fashion choices back in the day. Jake Hager, the former Jack Swagger. What? This is exciting news, he's tweeted. I bet this is fun to just listen and watch me read out other people's tweets. Hikaru Shida was just like, AEW Dark Elevation? Does she know who Big Show is? You're burying the lead there, Shida. Vicky Guerrero, of course, Vicky Guerrero's with AEW. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the family. This is going to be a great year for AEW. Tommy Dreamer, well, this is some big news. Very witty. That's kind of how I started my video too. Even people like, mainstream publications, Variety has posted an article on it, which AEW have retweeted. Bleacher Report, of course, but they have the working relationship with AEW. I mean, me and Luke on our Patreon exclusive podcast, cheap plug, we just reviewed this month the February 1999 show, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which had in the main event Mr. McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a steel cage. And the end of that match had Big Show rip through the canvas, storm over, and beat up Steve Austin. He beat him up so much, he threw him through the cage and the cage wall, and Steve Austin still won. It was a crap debut. So, but here, 22 years later? Maths. In February again, he's jumped ship. He's gone from WCW to WWE to AEW, the giant Big Show. Surely Paul Wight now, I imagine he'll go as. What do you guys think? Did you see Big Show signing with AEW? If you say yes, you're a goddamn liar. No one saw this coming. What's he going to do? Well, we know he's a commentator, but that return to the ring is most intriguing. Short term, definitely Shaq. He's got to be doing something with Shaq. And it'll be, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really clamoring for a Big Show run, but he's only going to be great for the company. Like I said, he's got loads and loads of experience. Great mind. Wow. Weird. Well, please do subscribe to the WrestleTalk channel for daily wrestling videos. I'll have my AEW Dynamite review tomorrow in the WrestleTalk news. Obviously, go over and subscribe to the WrestleTalk podcast too, because that's where Luke and I will be doing our podcast reviews there. And go and watch the news video from earlier today talking about Miz's backstage heat from the last time he won the WWE Championship. The more things frickin' change, the more they stay the same, because it's 2021. Miz is the WWE champion, and Big Show's probably going to debut in AEW tonight. Sure. Jam that jam, folks.